Hello, everybody. My name is Natasha Russ, and today I will be doing my final presentation for my EDP class on flow states and social media. So, what even is a flow state? Before we get into it, having to explain this is kind of the core of it. So, if you don't understand this, you won't understand the effect of social media on the flow state. So, a flow state is a state of being of fluidity from the body and mind. It means being so deeply concentrated on one thing that you're unable to understand the time around you. You can't get distracted. And there are eight main components according to the article done by Gold and Sierra in 2020. In a flow state, there are clear goals, high concentration, loss of self-consciousness, distorted sense of time, a balance between challenge and skill. So you can't get into a flow state if you are doing something you do all the time, you know you can do it easy, it's not challenging you cognitively. Um, there's sense of control, and the activity is rewarding, as well as your focus is narrow, meaning you can only focus on whatever it is that you're doing. So, what's the point of a flow state? So, flow states have been shown to improve attitude, anxiety, productivity, overall satisfaction, and joy after completing a flow state task, as well as you'll see in all caps with a bunch of letters, dopamine. So, why was I interested in this topic? For me, I use flow states intentionally. Um, I play seven instruments total, and I've been playing instruments since I was about 6 or 7 years old. Um, I personally reach a flow state when I play my guitar mostly. I think it's the most challenging having to move my fingers and read notes at the same time. I played guitar for about 5 years now. So choosing songs that are a little harder to play, I prefer to play songs that are faster with a lot of chord changes and chord progression. Um, And I'm interested in this because intentionally using flow states has helped me in my academic performance and my mood so much. I use a lot of the blocking and chunking method where I'll do work for about 40 minutes straight. I'll take a break, I'll play guitar, and it's almost like a mental reset for me. I actually first learned about flow states in my sophomore year English class at community college um, through the book Scattered Minds. And this is just a concept that has really stuck with me throughout all of my education. And using these intentionally actually brought my grades up to like straight C's and passing my first year of community college to straight A's. All right, so as I mentioned in the beginning, this is going to be about social media usage as well as flow states. So, our flow states and our ability to get into a flow state may be in danger due to social media. Gen Z and Gen Alpha are facing unique cognitive challenges compared to those before them, um, which could result in not being able to achieve a flow state. Um, this is because Gen Z and Gen Alpha, we are the first generations to have this technology at our fingertips our entire lives. Also, younger kids and newer generations, especially Gen Alpha, younger Gen Z, have are often using platforms like TikTok, like Instagram, that show 40-second videos. But what's the effect of flow states and attention spans when using social media? Because these two do have a relationship. They hold hands. One cannot be there without the other. But why are we even talking about TikTok? So Zhang in 2023 claims that a platform with short content like TikTok are actually wired to give quick dopamine and induce a flow-like state. So any form of social media platform that has an algorithm, you're getting into mini flow states. And the algorithm is being used to show and push more content that they think you would like and keep you in that. Um, Flow has been shown to strengthen short-term attention span, but not long-term attention span. And this is another way that social media comes into play, where again, these 40-second videos are being played. Um, and if you're in that constant state of little flow, you're not putting your time and energy into other things that are cognitively better for you. So if you'll see right here, I believe the third bullet point, higher flow equals more engagement equals more screen time. Essentially, when you are using these platforms extensively, you are rewiring your brain to seek quick spouts of dopamine instead of participating in an activity that is a little bit more cognitively challenging or a little bit more rewarding. Um, Another thing for me, I love to build Legos. Anyone who else likes to build Legos will understand that feeling of accomplishment once you're done. You get to look at your final product, you know how it all looks. Um, but yeah, but why is this important to know? Why am I even making a presentation about it? As I mentioned before in this presentation, flow states can be incredibly beneficial. And this knowledge of what social media can do to the potential of creating that flow state is also really important to understand. Um, and to ideally make some changes about it. Um, a lot of us too, I don't think I could give this presentation fully without acknowledging COVID-19, and a lot of us, including myself, spent their adolescence in lockdown. I was 15 when COVID happened, and I believe I was like 19 or 20 when we were officially out of lockdown. Um, so being knowledgeable about these topics can really help us mediate and help improve our abilities to be able to get into that flow state. And like I said previously as well, Gen Z and Gen Alpha are facing a unique cognitive challenge of having this technology for our entire lifetimes. But how does this impact my field? So, a little bit about me. I hope to eventually become a therapist, a professor, and a researcher. I want to be like a psychologist Barbie who does it all. I would like to work with young adults and teens. Again, this group of people are growing up with screens their entire lives. So, how is this going to affect my daily work? Attention spans are probably going to be lower than what they were 20 years ago. May not have some students who pay attention in class. Um, Roberts and David in 2023 did a study and pointed out that social media in teens and adolescents has also been linked to anxiety, depression, and also what a lot of people refer to as FOMO, the fear of missing out, which has been linked to not actually connecting with people, just having the appearance that are there. And the more times that teens are spending scrolling on their phones, they're not doing hobbies that are beneficial. They're not taking that time and connecting with those around them, the people that they love. Um, but going further, these are my cautions and my advice. Again, we are the first generation to have access to this kind of technology for our entire lives, and we don't know the full extent of damage that screens can cause mentally and physically throughout an entire lifetime. This is completely new. These studies probably won't even come out in my lifetime, maybe towards the end of it, but who knows? So here are my tips of advice that I try to live my life by, that really help me put my screens down. I like to spend an hour outside, even if it's scheduled. For those of you who have ADHD like I do, some things need to just be scheduled in your routine so you make sure you do them. I try my best to limit screen time, especially when I'm having meals with my family. I like to turn my phone off or not go on my phone while we're all eating so we can talk. Um, Again, find a low effort hobby that you can do anywhere. For me, mine's music. That might not be something I can do everywhere, but I like to play Sudoku and I love to read, so I put some examples there too. Just anything you can really throw in your backpack, your purse. Um, if you were to meet me in person, you know I always have a book in my purse at all times. Um, and just trying to use my phone less in social settings and focusing on current connections. I'm very fortunate that I do have a wonderful group of friends. Whenever I go out with my girlfriends, we put our phones in the middle, we turn them off, and we just focus on really being present with each other and talking to each other. And going back, here are the key takeaways from the research that I did for this project. Um, Flow is actually the main psychological driver in content engagement. Like we said before, talking about algorithms, Trying to flex on social media and create a certain presence has been shown to contribute to anxiety and depression. Um, Throughout the articles, it had been referenced as a telepresence, so not actually who you are, just kind of what you're willing to show. Um, Flow can contribute to deficits in long-term attention span due to its characteristic of distortion of time. If you're constantly getting in these flow states, you don't know how much time you're spending doing it. It might be more difficult for someone to actually sit down and watch a movie after. Um, and especially the last one, which I think is the most important to know and why this is such a big deal, is youth are exceptionally vulnerable to all of this. I mean, they're more vulnerable to using social media, spending more time on it, etc., etc. Here are my references, and thank you so much. This was a great class. I enjoyed learning. I hope everybody has a great holiday.